was young, they told me I should put the pencil away. I gotta color the picture because
You're listening to the Pickleball Lounge podcast, Toledo's home for all things pickleball. News, tips, and local action served weekly. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Pickleball Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Eli Williams. A couple quick announcements before we get into this. August 3rd, Glass City Pickleball Association is having their next tournament. I believe 2 weeks you have left to register for that. Bill and Cam, they run a tight ship over there. It's super efficient. I went and watched the whole thing because I couldn't play last week. But this week I'm playing with it, so if you have the time, come play, grab a partner. The competition's from 3-5 and up. Men's, they're paying the top 5 teams. Women, just depends how many teams come in. Usually the top 2 or 3 are getting paid for that. Multiple people have been asking, where can we get some shirts that have our logo on it? We're actually in the process of making all that. If you have a specific design or color, reach out to us on social media. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can find all of our latest episodes and things like that. This week we have a very special guest. It's actually someone who has never played pickleball. So you're probably asking why a pickleball podcast would have someone who doesn't play pickleball. Well, 2 reasons. One, it's a good cause, and now they are actually related to pickleball. They're actually throwing a tournament. Steven, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why a pickleball tournament now? And maybe tell us about this special guest as well.
We'll start with Bella. I guess I'll start where I'm from. I'm Steve Kiesling, the director of Toledo Animal Rescue, and we're on the podcast because we're running a tournament called Pickle Paws in September down at Toledo Pickle Company. And I thought, what a great opportunity to bring Bella to meet some new people and get out and about, and maybe find her a new dad who might be in the room.
Yeah.
So we just want to talk about our tournament, our cause, and why we're doing it, and kind of go from there.
Yeah. So Bella, she's going up for adoption this weekend if she makes it out of the room today. That is.
Yeah.
Sean has some infatuation with her already.
Yeah. Bella's a 4-month-old purebred beagle. We get animals to the rescue for a variety of reasons, from strays being dropped off to people unfortunately dumping animals at our gate. People's lives change, hardship comes about, they lose jobs, they lose family members, housing. So many reasons people bring in animals, and because of that we get animals like Bella who come to us, and we treat them as if they're our own and make sure that they find a really great home.
Absolutely. So kind of tell us, before we get into the tournament, tell us what's the process of adopting it?
Pretty simple. All of our animals that are available are listed on our website, which is toledoanimalrescue.org. You want to talk? Okay. And then you can see all the animals on the same website. You can submit an adoption application. We do take walk-ins every day from 11 to 4. So if you're spare the moment and you're like, I want to go check out a cat, check us out. We have plenty of cats. We have plenty of dogs. Kitten season's here, so we're overrun with kittens. With the application process, it's not very cumbersome. Probably takes about 10 minutes. We have some questions that we ask to get to know you. A lot of the adoption process is conversational. We want to make sure that whomever's coming in finds the right animal for them, and we give them the right animal as well. People might want a big dog but then live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and it might not be the best fit for them. Same thing, they're out of town all the time, and so a dog might not be great for them, but a couple cats, they're a lot easier to care for.
Sure.
A lot of conversation, a lot of talking with people, making sure it's a good fit, because it is a lifelong commitment.
Sure, yeah. I was even going to ask if there's anything that you guys check off your box before you actually let someone adopt.
Do. So if you rent, we want to make sure that whomever you rent from allows cats or dogs, if they have breed restrictions, because a lot of places do, unfortunately. Make sure there's no breed restrictions. And then if you own, we confirm that. If you have other pets in the home, we do check your vet records, just making sure that you're a good pet owner.
Okay.
It's not a ton of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you're doing something to make sure the dog's getting care for. So kind of tell us a little bit about, you said you've never played pickleball.
Have not, no.
So why a pickleball tournament?
We were at a board meeting. I'm actually going to put her down real
Go
quick.
right
Go
ahead.
ahead and go run around. Go see Scott.
Go to your new owner.
So we had a board meeting, and as a nonprofit, we're always looking for ways to raise funds, correct? Through individual donors, from people donating items to events. We run a couple events during the year. We do a Yappy Hour in May. We do a Santa Paws at Ernest in December. So if you have dogs, we'll get that date out there at some point too.
Yeah.
And you might recognize the voice of Santa.
Oh, okay.
So I get to take pictures with about 50, 60, 70 dogs, and it's a lot of fun. But we were looking for something new. And pickleball has just gone crazy the last few years. And with the Toledo Pickle Company downtown, someone said we should do a pickleball tournament. And there's trying to get in on the front end of it, because there's not very many charity pickleball tournaments right now, although they're coming and coming and coming really fast. And so we're brainstorming, and then I said, well, yeah, let's call it Pickle Paws. And everyone's like, that's a great idea. Yeah. So that's kind of how it started. We wanted to do a unique event at a time of the year where we really don't do events, so it's in September. And I think it's an event that's going to sell itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Between the venue and the cause.
Yeah, it's September 20th,
correct,
I believe.
Yeah.
What's the price and the times? Do you know that?
So I think we have it set up from 10 to 4. Again, to me, running a tournament like this, I had no idea how long it was going to take.
Right? Oh, yeah.
So I thought a couple hours, but it's 6 hours. But if you have 36 teams, which we're looking to fill, and if we get an overwhelming response, then we can open up to more teams. So it's $150 a team. We're still working on the details of, we're not doing cash prizes because we're a charity, but we're looking to partner with Four Paws Bakery. Is it Four Paws Bakery? I'm probably not saying the name correctly, but a dog bakery in Perrysburg.
Okay.
It's Three Dog Bakery. Three Dog Bakery.
There we go.
So we're working with them to make trophies, quote unquote, which are going to be basically like huge dog biscuits and things like that. And we'll have giveaways. Come up with a cool name. We're gonna vote on who has the best, craziest pickleball team name.
Awesome.
And give out some stuff. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So it's just it's kind of twofold. It's a way to get some pets adopted, essentially, and to get your name out there, because what you're doing is, I was reading your thing. You're a no-kill shelter.
We are.
So kind of tell us the difference between your type of shelter to others around the area.
So Toledo Animal Rescue, we started in 1927. We were originally the Toledo Animal Shelter Association. It's one of those old-timey stories. A couple rich folks were walking downtown, going to the theater, and they saw a dog in the doorway, and it kind of spurred the rescue. So we are the oldest no-kill rescue in Northwest Ohio. The difference between no-kill and kill, a no-kill rescue doesn't mean animals aren't euthanized. Animals do get euthanized, whether it's for health issues. Unfortunately, sometimes if it's a behavioral issue, an animal might have to be euthanized for their safety and the safety of everyone around them. But other than that, the difference between a no-kill and a kill is more, I hate to say kill rescues, but they sometimes euthanize animals for space. That is going away a lot. Even the quote-unquote kill shelters like the dog warden LC4, they don't euthanize just to euthanize anymore. It's not right. If it's a good animal that can be adopted, they do everything in their power, just like we do, to find homes for those animals. But a no-kill, it means you have a high, whatever percentage, I think it's like above 90% of your animals, there's, so for every 100 animals you have, you're euthanizing less than 10.
Sure.
But I mean, I can count on two hands in this 5.5 years I've been there how many animals we've had to euthanize. And it's all been health. Probably 90% of that's health related.
So I guess a good question was, the kill shelters, how do you kind of fix that problem? Just they need more space, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at LC4 building their new facility, which looks amazing, to have space. There's so many people out there in need, and it seems like it's growing daily, that for perspective, we can hold about 12 dogs in-house. Sometimes we do some fosters. We get 5 to 10 applications for people to surrender their dogs a day. And so we just simply can't meet the need. And so there's more people in need out there than there are of us trying to help. And then there are more people in need than there are people adopting. So it's just it's a numbers game. How can organizations that, do euthanize for space? It's an education piece. It's bad optics in the community for an organization to be, quote unquote, kill rescue.
Sure.
And so, again, most organizations, including LC4 and every other dog warden in the country, is doing everything in their power not to euthanize healthy, good animals. And it's working. It's across the country, the numbers are really trending in the right direction.
So with your facility, the Toledo Animal Rescue, do you need more workers? You need more people adopting? What do you need more of?
No, not workers. We're small. We're compared to, say, the Humane Society, we're probably a tenth of their size. Where we may adopt out 400 to 450 animals a year, they're doing 4,000.
Oh, okay.
So they have 10 times the staff, 10 times the budget, 10 times the space. So for us, it's space.
Okay.
We've improved our space for our cats, so we're able to handle a lot more of those. Right now, we're limited by our facilities.
Yeah.
With improved and bigger facilities and renovations that we do have some plans moving forward. Then it will come with staffing. But thank goodness I have a wonderful team of people working there right now.
How long do most of your pets stay with you? You get them out pretty quick?
It honestly depends. Bella, she'll be gone in less than 2 weeks from the time she came in to the time she goes home.
Is she so young? Or?
Yeah, she's young. She's desirable. She's amazing. Dogs definitely move through faster. There's certain breeds that do not. Pits, unfortunately, don't move as fast as others because there's so many of them out there.
Sure.
Dogs that might have some restrictions, because we have a couple dogs who just will not do well in a home with other dogs or cats. So there's limitations. When I arrived to the rescue, I started in April of COVID, so 2020. We had dogs that had been there for almost 2 years. Cats that had been there for a year. So we changed how we did things. Right now, unfortunately, our longest cat has been there since January. So if anybody's looking for a really cool cat who needs to be by herself, find us. Peaches is a great cat.
Perfect.
But typically, she's an anomaly. She's been there longer than most every other cat. So I'd have to look up the numbers that I could find. But it's anywhere from a few days to a few months. So
with Peaches, you said she needs to be alone. Do you find most people that are adopting cats taking 2 or 3 at a time?
We try.
Yeah.
Especially kittens. It's a lot easier, especially if you work. Most everyone's working. So when you're gone all day and then you come home and you're tired, your cat is ready.
Yeah.
Is ready for you, is ready for your attention. But if you have 2 of them, the care isn't much more. Cleaning litter box isn't much more. The food isn't, exceptionally more. Right. And then they entertain themselves when you're gone.
Yeah.
And so they're not all up in your face, because a lot of people might not like that in a cat.
Yeah.
But it's also good for their socialization. They have less behavioral issues when there's more than one, because they have somebody to hang out with.
Yeah. So kind of tell us the mission of the rescue. It's not for everybody. You have to be compassionate towards the people and animals. So kind of tell us how you kind of got into it, why it's important to you.
For me, I've been a nonprofit guy in Toledo for pushing 30 years. So I've worked in a variety of different fields, from working with individuals with disabilities to juvenile felons to wildlife. I found this opportunity again, right before COVID. And I just thought it was a good fit for me. It's a healthy organization financially, which is always good for a small nonprofit. So we had some leeway to make some improvements. It's been around for a long time, right? We're almost 100 years old, so we've had a presence in the community. And it was also, when I came in, the organization was kind of in a downtime. The previous director had taken ill, so there was a lot of the inmates running the asylum type stuff. Sure. And so it was ripe for an opportunity to really take an organization that was adopting out about 100 to 125 animals a year to turning it now 5 years later, we are adopting 40 animals a month.
Okay. So when you came into the rescue, did you see something missing that you're like, I want to be a part of it because it's missing and I can bring that?
There was I think it just like any other business, it might take a new set of eyes to come in and with a different perspective to see where changes can happen.
Yeah.
We've moved to, we were talking about the application process. We moved through more of it's called barrier-free adoption. So less restrictions. When I got there, if I didn't meet the criteria to adopt, and I'm thinking that's crazy. I've been a pet owner my entire life. My animals are well taken care of. I am now running this place, and technically, I wasn't able to adopt an animal. So just looking at our adoption process, improving our intake and adoption processes as well, paperwork. Everything was on paper. Now everything's via text and email. I mean, we do checkouts via text, so everything's computer, which it wasn't then. We have a wonderful system that we use that manages everything. So just kind of improving an organization. It had probably been stagnant for a while.
So what's kind of your advice to pet owners that are just getting frustrated because they're either gone with work, they have too many kids, but they don't know how to get rid of their dog the correct way? What's kind of your advice, the next steps for them?
It's contact one of the organizations in the area. We have a list of organizations in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. There's probably 36 organizations that we have listed, and that's not a complete list. So there are organizations to help. You might need to be patient. If you can't wake up today and say, I need to get rid of my dog, and then get frustrated when an organization is unable to take your dog. So you need to be patient. You need to plan it a little bit. One thing I haven't mentioned is we have a pet food pantry as well. So again, people are on hard times. We'd rather give food to folks to feed their animals than have them either take away food from them or their families, or just say, I'm just going to let the dog out the door. We started the pet food pantry. We get a lot of food donations, and we don't use it all. We try to stay with the same types of food so that we're not changing diets because it's bad for the animals. And then people will call us, and it's like, oh yeah, we'll give you food. My wife runs a food pantry at Owens Community College, and we've seen through her food pantry that people will get like 3 cans of stew, and one for them, one for their kids, and one for the dog. So they're taking food pantry food and giving it to their animals. So they might still be going hungry themselves, but their kids and their pets are cared for.
Right.
And that's not right. No one should go hungry, and neither should their pets. And that's kind of our little tagline for the pet food pantry. This year we've given out more than 3 tons of food.
Wow.
So far, and it's all based on donations. So unfortunately we're not financially well off enough to just buy as much food as we can to give away. It's all based on donations.
So what's your next step of growing the rescue?
Dog room.
Okay.
Renovating our dog room. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a massive project. I can't even tell you how much money it's going to be. It's probably going to be a lot of money, but we want to do it correctly.
Yeah.
We want to expand the space so that we can accommodate more dogs. We want to make it up to date in best practices. The last time the room was renovated was 2003. So best practices have changed. Kennel designs have changed. Soundproofing has gotten better. When you put 10 dogs in a concrete room, in concrete kennels, they bark, it's super loud, and then it disturbs the other animals. So try to make it as nice for them, as comforting for them. It's not jail. It's not 3 hots in a cot.
Sure.
They have toys, and they have beds, and we don't care if they tear up their beds because we get new ones.
Right.
We get a lot of donations. We want them to have the enrichment that they need while they're in the kennel and then when they're out of the kennel, because unfortunately we can't have them out all the time. So even simply things like bringing Bella here, it's great for her. She needs to be out and about. She needs to know how to ride in a car. She had no idea how to do the steps. So, because she's a puppy.
Yeah.
She probably have never seen steps before. So she just looked at me, and so I did the
Pick
steps.
her up. Yep.
So we try to provide as much comfort for them. We treat them as if they're our own animals.
Do you find, like I'm sure you've seen it, everyone's seen it, you'll see the sad videos of adopt this pet or this, that with the sad music. Do you find that the longer a pet stays with you guys, the behavior changes a bit?
Sometimes, yeah, they have. It's called kennel regression, and so yeah, their personalities do change. Some of them. Some dogs just don't like being in the kennel, and they're a totally different animal in the kennel than they are when they're out and about. We took a dog yesterday. Shout out to Zoom Room in Perrysburg, wonderful trainers, to get an assessment because we were seeing really bad signs of aggression. She went there. She was amazing. I'm like, show them how bad you can be, and she didn't. But then we did. The trainer was wonderful and did Sam and did some barrier stuff testing, and sure enough, she did not like the gate, and her demeanor changed. Well, that's something we can totally work with. She was great with people. She was great with treats. They even have a big stuffed dog that you can see if they're going to be aggressive. Found out that this dog probably has a little bit of healer in her, so she was hurting this dog, but she was returned to us. She was adopted out as a puppy and returned to us because she was playing too aggressively with the other dog in the home and the grandkids. Well, she was just doing her herding stuff. And when the kids weren't going in the direction she wanted, she was nipping at their heels. When the dog wasn't doing what she wanted, she was nipping. And so they would put her in a kennel. And then that's where kind of the negative reinforcement happened with the kennel was, well, I'm being punished for being in this kennel.
Sure.
And so now she has this negative connotation with cage. So one of those things we just have to, work on her.
So what's your kind of advice for people who are like that, but it's their own dog? They get a puppy, they don't know how it's going to be with kids, then they have kids, and they kind of get to that nippy puppy stage. What's
training?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just training. Dogs are smart. They're inherently smart animals. If you're working with them from the very beginning to, plan. If you're planning a family, you should plan to get your dog squared away. I remember, now it's 23 years ago, when brought my first daughter home, and the first thing we did is, they always put that like little hat on them. So we brought that home to her first so she could get the smell. And when my daughter came home, my dog was just right there, and basically till she passed, she never left my daughter's side. But it's just training. And there's a lot of wonderful trainers out there. So and some of it's costly, but you can also learn a lot online. But you have to be consistent and persistent. You can't yell at a dog and expect them to respond. Negative behavior or negative reinforcement is no bueno.
Okay, that's really a lot of people, I think, hits home with, because you don't know how to train a dog unless you've been taught. So what do? You resort to what you were kind of raised, and you take it to your dogs.
Yeah, no, I mean, rubbing the dog's nose in the pee, that doesn't work. That went out 50 years ago. Getting mad at a dog after it pooped in the corner an hour later, that dog has no idea. The dog pooped in the corner for a reason, probably because you didn't know it had to go outside.
Right.
She's looking at the door. I'm like, please don't go to the bathroom.
Please
don't go to the bathroom on the floor. So yeah, a lot of it's common sense.
Yeah.
And patience. A lot of patience.
Yeah. With dogs, it seems, I have two. It's almost like if you take a day off, it's like not good for them. But once, like when we potty trained both of our dogs, now they both ring bells when they have to go out. So it's consistency. Do you see, kind of give us your advice if you're just having kids, what's some dog breeds that you say this is a for sure, or some that are kind of stay away from?
I don't know. I am not an expert at all. I mean, I have 5.5 years of animal welfare experience. I've learned a great deal, but honestly, there's no specific breed that's better than another.
Sure.
Some animal breeds like pit bulls or German shepherds or Rottweilers. I've seen nicer German shepherds, pit bulls, and Rottweilers than I've seen Chihuahuas and terriers. A few weeks ago, we were down at the Perrysburg Farmers Market. We were setting up our table there, and I was giving out whipped cream pup cups. I probably gave out 100 to 100 dogs. Dog that bit me, you would never guess, a corgi.
Really?
Yeah, And the guy said, "Oh, her bark's worse than her bite." I'm like, "No, she didn't bark at all.
Yeah.
It just bit me on the
Wow.
hand." And so, but a little corgi.
Yeah.
So the little breeds are different, but then again, it's all very specific to the animal.
Do you think some of the animal's behavior is because of said owner?
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
all the training they didn't do?
That the dog I was talking about, Lotus, when she left at 3.5 months old, was a cuddler and wonderful and was just amazing. And then something happened in that time. More than likely, the family misread what she was doing, and instead of working with that, hey, she might have some, a herding breed in her, so we got to work on that and give her the outlets that type of dog needs. Some dogs need a ton of exercise, so instead of working with that, they ended up maybe punishing her. And I don't know all the details, and I don't want to speculate too much.
Sure.
But her behaviors has changed from when she left to when she came back.
Yeah. Kind of the process of getting you taking in is they give you their paperwork and they give you the dog. But say someone drops the cat or the dog off on your doorstep. What's the process you have to go through with that?
Yeah, all of our animals, we have a whole list of things we check off on an intake exam. We check teeth, we check ears, we make sure that they don't have any fleas, and we treat for that. We give them dewormer, we give them flea treatment. We provide all vaccinations. I just left, and our vet was there. He comes in every Wednesday, and he takes care of any medical cases we have, prescribes our medications, so we do provide medications. He was looking at some stuff under a microscope to check for, we had a couple cats with diarrhea, so he was checking to see if there was anything in that he could see, because then he would prescribe the medication for it. So every animal that leaves us, we hope that they're leaving healthy, and if they're not, then we work with the family to ensure that they're getting it. The animal's healthy.
So there's no, I don't know. It's kind of like hard to say, but is there any animals that you have to turn away because they're too far, sick, or things like that?
Yeah, because we don't have vet care on site. We have a volunteer vet that comes in about once a week, so we don't have a full vet clinic, so we can't really handle a lot of things.
Sure.
We also won't take a dog that's aggressive. Because they're dangerous.
Sure.
And so we won't take animals that have a bite history because we can't adopt them out. We have to divulge that information to you.
Yeah, right.
And then it's still our liability. So if you take this dog home and you get bit, well, it's on us because we knew.
Right.
Feral cats, if we can't handle a cat and examine it, and they don't have to be super friendly, but a feral cat, basically is a wild animal at one point. And so we don't take, because you just can't find homes for them.
Do you see any animals that come in and maybe have some problems, but you come in and socialize them with other dogs, that those problems disappear, or do you have to kind of work with
both
that?
cats and dogs? They come in with issues, but again, it might be environment as opposed to breed, and so we just train out the negative, and make sure that they're celebrated for all the positive they do, and over time they do change. Like Lotus is a good example. We've been working really hard with her, and now we got some more tricks and techniques from the trainer to work with her even further, so that she will be less barrier aggressive and less and less and less until she's not scared of it anymore.
Yeah.
Cats, the same thing. I mean, we just have to work hard with the cat. We have this one cat now, Sammy, for weeks and weeks, sitting in the kennel, and she'd look at you and she'd hiss, and you try to put her hand near her and she'd try to bite you. Every day, people are going in there and just talking to her and maybe putting a hand near her and doing for weeks. Now, I hadn't seen her in a long weekend, and I came in on Monday. She's meeting me at the door. I open the kennel up. She's rubbing on me, petting, rolling around. 2 weeks ago, she would have murdered me. So it just,
you got to be patient.
Got to work with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that the strays and people getting rid of their dogs, do you find it dwindling down, or do you feel it's picking up even worse?
It's ramping up, yeah.
What do you think the cause of it is? Just bad owners?
No. That is probably, bad owner is probably the exception. How do I say this without being trying to be political at all? We're all worse off right now than we were before.
Sure.
people are losing their homes, people are losing their jobs, people are losing services and benefits, food's more expensive, vet care is super expensive, and it's getting more and more expensive. And so people just don't have the means to do it. And if they have to take 2 jobs, well, then they're home, they're gone 7 days a week because they're trying to provide for themselves. And a lot of the times they relinquish the animal because they know it's not fair to have this dog in a kennel for 14 hours a day. And then when they get home, they don't have any time for it.
Yeah.
So there's so many reasons, but the probably the last of those reasons is bad people.
Yeah, it's just obviously the first to go would have to be your pet because your kids aren't going to go and your spouse isn't going to go. And sadly, it's the pet. But do you find it, as long as they do it the right way, coming to you guys the right way, that it's okay instead of just dropping them off to you?
Yeah. Again, people do get desperate. And so we turn people down every day because we're full. We're always full, especially this time of year. We try our best to help as many people as we can. We try to point them in the directions that other organizations that might have space. And so people get frustrated. And so, then they end up dumping an animal.
You said you get busy this time of year. Is there a certain reason? I know you
Summer.
said kitten season.
Yeah, I mean, it's summertime. So, kids are off school. People are taking summer vacations. It just seems, I don't have too much, anecdotal information, but it just seems like the numbers of applications to relinquish pets has really skyrocketed.
Sure.
And it typically does this time of year. A lot of strays, a lot of stray dogs, a lot of stray cats. So,
Are you guys a rescue that goes out and finds pets?
We don't.
Okay.
No.
You have so many come to your doorstep.
Yeah,
so it
and
makes sense.
we're a small place, so we don't have the staffing to just go out and search.
Sure.
I say that, but we still, they find us.
Right.
Whether I'm on the clock or not, or staff are on the clock or not, they still find us. So we're not actively looking, but it happens.
Do you find, like, working in this business, being so compassionate to animals, you see a stray on the side of the road, do you feel like I should go pick that? Or you're like, I've got so many.
I kind of do. I have staff that are more ready to go and just open that door and let that dog in the car. I just know, like, I try to help what we can.
Yeah.
Have you heard of, it's not a parable. It's just kind of one of those stories, the starfish story. Everybody's heard a different version of it. Little kid walking down the beach, and there's thousands and thousands of starfish washed up on the beach, and the kid's walking down the beach and throwing them back in one by one. And, an adult walks up and says, well, you can't save them all. And she picks one up and throws it in the water and says, no, but I saved that one. And again, paraphrasing like crazy. Sure. But that's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
I can't save them all, but I can save the ones I can.
Yeah. So say your facility is full. What would be another step someone can take if you guys are full? What's the next best
Again, there's
option?
so many other organizations. And I guess the answer is always it depends. Why are you needing to relinquish the pet? If it's financially, we can get you food to maybe stave off the idea of relinquishing your pet. Relying on your own social network of friends and family, if you have them, to help maybe temporarily house your animal until you can get your situation squared away. And it's just being persistent and patient and understanding that there's more folks out there needing us than there are us helping.
Yeah. Is there ever animals that you kind of let get adopted knowing that it might not be the best situation?
Sometimes we do have questions, but if it's a red flag, then we won't. Yeah. We won't do it. But we've had animals that have been adopted out and brought back. And we're like, yeah, we could see that happening. Yeah. But it's better to give the people and the animal a chance in the home because it might work out than have them sitting in a kennel longer than they need to be. Sometimes they come back, but not a great deal.
You feel like I feel like when my wife and I have gotten animals, it's because we're missing something type thing. So when you have someone come in, do you feel like the dog is doing more for the person's doing for the dog?
My dog has been wonderful. She doesn't care what kind of day I had.
Right.
When I get home, she wants me to sit on the couch so she can jump on me and smell all the dog and cat smells. Yeah. She doesn't care if I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And Oh no, pet therapy is real.
Yeah.
It's proven that having pets, decreases your stress. It lowers your blood pressure. Helps with your psyche. So yeah, pets are definitely
Yeah.
good for you. I mean, it's why they do emotional support animals.
Yeah.
It's real.
So let's go back to a little. We've talked.
Yeah, man, you've hit a lot.
I know.
You've hit a lot
tried.
of topics,
And we're a pickleball podcast.
I feel like I'm hoping it doesn't sound like I'm making any of this stuff up. But
No, it's great.
Some of it might be a little bit made up, but I apologize.
Well, I want to make sure that people know what to really expect at the. Are you guys going to have some animals at the
We will
facility?
try, being that it's a restaurant.
Sure.
We might not be able to bring many inside, but if we need to set up our tent on the patio out back, and have some animals there, we won't bring cats.
Right. Sure.
But we'll cycle in some of our dogs that we have available so people can see them. The people over there have been wonderful to work with, and so I think we'll definitely have some critters running around.
Tell us a little bit about some other events that you guys do throughout the year. I know you mentioned
we
some, but really,
we don't do a lot.
any reason why?
They're time consuming. We're not going to do another golf outing
Okay.
because everybody does a golf outing.
Sure.
There's organizations that have amazing events that they've cultivated over the years. Bark in the Park for the Humane Society. It's just grown exponentially. Was it whatever that beach party is? The Boys and Girls Club? That has blown up. But they're unique. So having a unique thing, and I think for us getting into doing the pickleball earlier, and so that it's not going to be the next golf tournament, which it's going to be.
Yeah.
But if we're in our third or fourth or fifth iteration down the road, and there's a ton of them, I want people who are animal people to look forward to doing that.
All right.
So events are very time consuming. The return on a new event isn't great. They're more relationship building events, and that's kind of how we started it. We started Yappy Hour down at Toledo Spirits in May of COVID. We needed to do something, and it was a perfect opportunity to do an outside event so there could be social distancing. People could bring their dogs. We'd have music. We had food trucks. They have drink specials. So really cool thing just to kind of celebrate not being cooped up inside and getting people to hang out with their pets in a relatively safe, environment outdoors. The Santa Paws is just kind of a cool thing that we wanted to do. It generates some money, but it's just fun.
Sure.
So we do these events a lot for the fun and to get people to know who we are as an organization. So we don't do a ton of events because it is very time consuming.
And that money just goes back to just making sure the
right
facilities.
back to the critters,
Yeah.
We're working on another event right now. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want anybody stealing it.
Good idea.
But it's along the lines of the coffee trail thing they do.
Okay.
Destination Toledo puts out. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
Where you go around, you get the punch card.
Yeah.
So it's kind of going in along the lines of that. But
Yeah, good idea.
still working on that.
So your idea behind all this is just one, the money goes back and helps your guys' facility, but relationship-wise, but at the end of the day, you just want pets to get adopted, right?
We want animals to get adopted, and we want the financial ability to get that to happen.
Right. Do you ever? I was actually going to ask this earlier with Bella. I feel like it for me. I get so attached to animals so fast. It's like, I would have a hard time working there being so attached to the animals. Do you find that?
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to say every animal that comes through, but we all tend to have our favorites at the time.
Sure.
A lot of times it is bittersweet, especially an animal that came in really rough shape, and we nursed back to health and got it to be this just amazing, happy critter. Then to find them go to a really good home, it's very bittersweet. We're going to miss them, but then we just move on to the next ones that need our help and need our love.
Yeah.
And so, I get attached to all of them.
It's got to be a good feeling, though, knowing how much help you put into it, then going to a good family.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Especially
icing on the cake.
the ones that have had a long road, that have come in sick or come in with bad behaviors that we're working through. It's very rewarding, and it's nice to see that the work and time that we have all put into it is being rewarded by this animal finding a great home.
Sure. And I'll ask you kind of the opposite. Are there days where you like you said, you've had that, I think, cat since January or something like that? Are there days where like it's just discouraging type of work?
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit.
We tell people no all the time, unfortunately. When people call in to relinquish animals and we simply don't have a spare space. So telling people no a lot is definitely disheartening. During COVID, the whole thing was they talked about compassion fatigue, and mostly in like the medical field and the nurses in nursing homes and doctors and things like that. You know, you get so overwhelmed with giving yourself to help others that you develop compassion fatigue, and it happens with us too. You know, it's when you're getting yelled at by somebody on the phone because you can't help them, and you know that they're desperate or they're crying or they're mad or they're upset or wherever, and you still have to say, I'm sorry, I wish I could provide the assistance that you need, but I can't. Yeah, it gets to you, just like anything else, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of tell us what you do to kind of reverse that now. Like, how do you pick yourself back up? Because that's a hard thing to do.
We can get into
obviously.
this now. I play disc golf.
Oh, there we go.
What a segue.
Hey,
yeah.
Dylan loves disc golf.
I have hobbies. I garden. I have a wife who also is in the helping profession, and so we talk. You know, we just say, okay, here's how crappy the day was. A lot of times I'll go home and I'll just say, I can't people right now.
Yeah.
I've peopled all day. I don't want to people. Give me an hour. Just leave me be, and she'll do the same. So just having outlets outside of it, you know, just like any other job. I mean, you get burnt out by your job, and you go and find whatever outlet's going to make you happy.
Absolutely.
Mine is gardening and
disc golf. Still, tell us a little about how did you get into it? Have you been playing a while?
10 plus years. I live in Perrysburg, and I was always driving by Woodland Park, and I see the baskets. I'm like, that would be cool to start. And then one Father's Day, my kids gave me a little starter set, and I went off from there. And I was carrying my 3 starter discs, and then I graduated to. I had a soft-sided cooler that was my disc bag.
Yeah.
And then I got a bag, and now I'm a cart guy.
There you go.
Oh man, I'm into it.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
it's like pickleball. It seems like Dylan was telling me he got into it. Like you can get into it pretty hardcore, I guess, right?
You can have a plastic addiction. Luckily, I do not.
Okay.
I just I know people with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of discs, and I have I don't know 30 or 40 or 50 or something.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but over a course of
sure,
a long period of time, it's fun. It's a fun thing. I got a couple guys that I play with, and
it's therapeutic for you.
It's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's definitely our spot to just whatever we might talk about how crappy our day was or how good our day was, or we might just not talk for 45 minutes,
right,
and just play.
Yeah, you just forget about the day type of thing.
I mean, definitely I would say the fanaticism of disc golf is definitely on par with the fanaticism of pickleball.
Okay.
I know some people who are pickleball
junkies.
That's all they do.
That's
and
Dylan.
Great. I mean, it's how wonderful. What a great activity. You know, I am walking in a park.
Right.
Pickleball's a little bit more physically active.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, definitely on par with the people who are. If you're into it, you're into it.
Do you find that people that work in nonprofits or people who are constantly serving others or helping with animals need that type of outlet when they're done?
I think everybody does. I don't care what job you're on. If you're humping it hard at Jeep, you need an outlet. If you're crunching numbers all day, you need an outlet. I don't think it has to do with the industry at all. I think just society is just so wound tight.
Yeah.
And everyone's trying to make sure that they're taking care of themselves and doing their job and all that jazz. I think it doesn't matter what job you're in.
Yeah.
You're talking to people podcasting, man. You need to go and get whatever release you need after dealing with people all day.
Sure. So, as we're wrapping up, tell us where we can find All your pets.
So ToledoAnimalRescue.org. We also have them listed on Pet Finder. So you can search on Pet Finder and you'll see our animals with other animals. Pet Finder is a great website that you can search by geographic area, breed, age, temperament, things like that. But all of our current animals are listed on our website, as is the link to the ticketing for Picklepaws. So we have, the team prices. We also have court sponsorships, which are $150 for the court, $250 I think for center court there. And if you haven't been to Toledo Pickle, I'm sure people listening to this, they have been.
Yep.
So I forgot I'm on a pickleball podcast.
That's okay.
So
it's good to remind them.
Everyone should know that the center court's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so there's sponsorships for that. But it's all online, and we outline the process on how to adopt and everything right there. It's pretty self-explanatory.
And with your rescue, is there place where people can donate to you guys, and that donation goes straight to you?
It goes right to us. We have a wish list of items that we regularly use, so that's on our website too. But if you have something that you might want to donate, a lot of people might get a Chewy box, and it's the wrong one, and so Chewy just says donate it.
Okay.
And so they donate, the food to us, blankets, towels, toys, treats, all of those things.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your mission. Really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
No, I hope as we get closer, we can do another one.
Absolutely.
To tell everybody it's sold out, or to say, hey,
it's open back up.
Get those tickets in.
Well, it's September 20th, correct?
Yep. And if we do hit the 36 teams, I'm sure we can add more.
Well, I'm sure
because I know we're not taking all of the courts.
Okay.
There, I think we're doing like 6 or 8 courts.
Okay.
So
you're taking a lot of them.
I think it's a round robin. I think everyone's going to be guaranteed about 3 games.
Okay.
Obviously, more games if we get more teams.
Yeah.
But I think I asked that question: how many games are guaranteed? And I think it's 3.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you coming on.
No, thanks, guys. This was perfect. I love it.
Yeah, we'll post all of your stuff. We'll put the links in our bios and everything like that.
Wonderful. So and obviously, we'll share everything too.
We appreciate it. Thanks
Excellent.
for coming on.
Appreciate it.